Ben Franklin wrote one thing down every night, and it helped him become one of America's original self-made millionaires. He dropped out of school when he was 10 because his family couldn't afford it, started a printing empire worth several $million in today's money, then became arguably America's most successful founding father. He ran away from home at 17, but when he was 20, he decided he wanted to be the best man he could possibly be and achieve moral perfection. So every night, he tracked whether he maintained what he called his 13 virtues. The first one is something everybody should still pay attention to today. Most guys are stuck in jobs they hate, living paycheck to paycheck and wondering why they can't get ahead. They waste their days in a fog, never fully present, always a little fuzzy from last night or thinking about their next meal. Meanwhile, the guys crushing it stay sharp all the time. Ben Franklin knew this back in the 1700s. His first rule for success was temperance, eat not to dullness, drink not to elevation. In simple terms, don't stuff your face until you're sluggish, and don't drink until you're wasted. This isn't about never enjoying good food or drinks, it's about staying sharp so you can outwork the competition. When you're clear-headed, you make better deals, spot opportunities others miss, and have the energy to push when others quit. Every time you're recovering from a hangover or food coma, someone else is getting ahead. Franklin practiced this virtue when he was just starting as a printer in Philadelphia. While other apprentices spent their money on beer and came to work sluggish, Franklin stayed sober. He worked longer hours, saved his cash, and eventually bought his own printing press, the first step to his fortune. The other guys, they kept working for someone else, wondering why they couldn't get ahead. Want a quick way to get ahead here? Keep tempting food and drinks out of your house completely. It's a lot easier to say no to something that's not in your kitchen than to resist it every time you open the fridge. Your willpower is a muscle that gets tired, so don't test it unnecessarily. But even if you master your willpower, you still need to master this next thing. The same guys who talk too much are usually the ones accomplishing the least. While they're running their mouths about what they're going to do someday, quiet leaders are actually doing it. Franklin's second rule was silence. Speak not but what may benefit others or yourself. Avoid trifling conversation. He's saying shut up unless what you're saying helps someone or moves you toward your goals. Think about how much time gets wasted in pointless chatter, gossip, and complaining. That energy could be directed toward planning your next move or learning something useful. Plus, the guy who talks less but says more valuable stuff, that's the guy people respect. This doesn't mean becoming antisocial, it means being strategic about your conversations. Ask questions that get you useful information. Share ideas that might lead to partnerships. Skip the drama and office politics that keep average guys stuck. In his younger days, Franklin was actually a know-it-all who dominated conversations. He realized this was annoying people and costing him relationships, so he practiced listening during meetings of his Junto Club, a group of ambitious tradesmen like himself. By talking less and listening more, he gained insights that improved his business and earned respect as a thoughtful leader instead of a loudmouth. You've probably noticed how friends or coworkers pull you into pointless conversations. Next time, try steering the talk toward business ideas or growth strategies. You'll be surprised how many people actually want to have more meaningful conversations, but don't know how to start them. Your words reflect your mind. When you cut out the noise, people notice the signal. But it's not just your chit-chat you need to clean up. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your desk is covered with random papers and your calendar is chaos. Then you wonder why you're always putting out fires instead of making real progress. Franklin's third principle was order. Let all your things have their places. Let each part of your business have its time. Simply put, organize your stuff and your time if you want to get ahead. Most guys underestimate how much disorder costs them. Every minute spent looking for lost files, every opportunity missed because you forgot about it, every deadline you rushed because you didn't plan ahead, these are all taxes on your success that ordered men don't pay. George Washington was obsessed with order at his Mount Vernon estate. He kept detailed records of crops, finances, and tasks, with a strict schedule for each day that balanced farming, military duties, and political work. This discipline allowed him to manage a massive estate while also leading a revolution and founding a country. Order created time for his biggest goals. I know what you're thinking. I'm too busy to get organized. But that's exactly why you need order even more. When space or time is limited, being organized isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Start with your desk today. Clear everything off, decide what you actually need, and find a place for each item. Do the same with your computer and calendar. When you create order around you, your mind follows. An ordered mind is freed up to see opportunities that chaotic minds miss. Now, before we get into this next virtue, if you're sick of being average and want to unlock your full potential, subscribe to Forge Theory so you don't miss any of our future videos. Most guys talk big about their goals, but never follow through. They start strong Monday morning, then by Wednesday, they've already given up. No wonder they're stuck in the same spot year after year. Franklin knew better. His fourth virtue was resolution. Resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. In today's language, decide what needs to be done, then do it, no matter what. This isn't just about motivation. It's about building a reputation with yourself as someone who keeps promises. When you constantly break commitments to yourself, you stop believing in your own word. That self-doubt creeps into everything else you do. Franklin showed this virtue when he decided to become a better writer, despite having little formal education. He found essays from The Spectator magazine, rewrote them from memory, and compared his versions to the originals. He kept at it until his writing rivaled professional authors, which led to a successful Poor Richard's Almanac and his influence as a writer. He didn't just wish he was a better writer, he resolved to become one, then followed through relentlessly. What's stopping you from doing the same? That voice in your head asking, "What if I fail?" Replace it with, "I'll learn and pivot." Everyone faces self-doubt and fear of failure. The difference is whether you let those thoughts control you or push past them. Resolution turns wishes into reality. It's the bridge between the man you are and the man you want to become. And speaking of the man you want to become, while your friends are dropping hundreds on bottle service to impress women who don't care, successful guys are investing that money in assets that make them wealthier every day. The difference between staying average and building wealth often comes down to your money habits. Franklin's fifth virtue was frugality. Make no expense but to do good to others or yourself, waste nothing. He's not saying to be cheap, he's saying be strategic with your money. Every dollar either takes you closer to freedom or keeps you trapped in the paycheck cycle. Think about the stuff you've bought to impress others. The watch, the car, the designer clothes. Did they make you any richer? Or did they just drain your bank account while giving you a temporary ego boost? Meanwhile, the truly wealthy often drive modest cars and live in reasonable homes because they know assets, not appearances, create real wealth. In his early days in Philadelphia, Franklin lived simply and saved his printing business earnings to reinvest in better equipment rather than spending on luxuries. This allowed him to quickly pay off debts and buy his own shop, a move that gave him the financial independence most men only dream about. His competitors spent lavishly and remained trapped working for others. Here's a mistake to avoid. Don't fall for the trap of buying status symbols like expensive watches to impress others. That Rolex might get you a few compliments, but it won't generate income or build your business. Put that money into equipment, education, or investments that actually grow your wealth instead. Frugality isn't about depriving yourself. It's about prioritizing future freedom over current flash. Here's a sad fact about men today. The average guy wastes hours every day scrolling through social media, playing video games, or watching TV. Then they wonder why they don't have time to start a business, learn new skills, or hit the gym. The math doesn't add up because they're lying to themselves about how they spend their time. Franklin's sixth principle was, industry, lose no time. Be always employed in something useful, cut off all unnecessary actions. In simple terms, work hard on stuff that matters and cut out the time-wasting crap. This isn't about being busy all the time. It's about being productive with your hours. Every minute spent on mindless entertainment is a minute you're not building toward the life you want. Those minutes add up to days, weeks, and years of lost potential. Thomas Jefferson showed incredible industry at Monticello. He spent his mornings writing letters, afternoons designing inventions, and evenings studying. His relentless productivity allowed him to become an architect, scientist, writer, and president. He didn't just dream about doing great things, he used every available hour to make them happen. Watch out for warning signs that you're falling into average habits. If you're spending hours on TikTok or binge-watching Netflix, you're giving away your most valuable resource, time. Try tracking your time for a single day, writing down how you spend each hour. Most guys are shocked when they see where their time actually goes. The choice is simple. Use your time or lose your dreams. No one ever built an extraordinary life with leftover time after wasting the best hours. But even if you're the most productive person in the world, it won't matter if you get this next virtue wrong. We've all seen those guys who stretch the truth, cut corners, and say whatever it takes to make a quick buck. They might win in the short term, but eventually, no one trusts them and their network dries up. They're always hustling because they've burned too many bridges to have repeat business. Ben Franklin's seventh virtue was sincerity. Use no hurtful deceit, think innocently and justly, and if you speak, speak accordingly. Put simply, be honest in your dealings because your reputation follows you everywhere. This isn't just about moral high ground, it's practical business advice. When clients and partners know you'll tell them the truth, even when it's difficult, they trust you with bigger opportunities. One honest conversation might cost you a small deal today, but earn you 10 larger deals tomorrow. Franklin demonstrated this when Parliament questioned him about colonial resistance to the Stamp Act in 1766. He answered 174 rapid-fire questions without notes, giving direct, honest responses about American objections to the tax. His straightforward answers so impressed the House of Commons that they repealed the act a month later, an outcome many credited to Franklin's frankness. His plain-spoken approach carried more weight than fancy rhetoric or exaggeration. You might think that cutting corners or exaggerating in your pitches is necessary to get ahead, but that approach only works until your reputation catches up with you. The real money is in building a network that trusts you enough to bring you opportunities again and again. And speaking of building a network that trusts you, there's a reason most successful people have a small circle of trusted partners and friends. They've learned that treating people fairly creates a network that supports them, while taking advantage of others leads to isolation right when you need help the most. Franklin's 8th virtue was justice. Wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. In everyday language, don't screw people over and follow through on your obligations. This goes beyond the bare minimum of not cheating people. It means paying suppliers on time, giving employees fair compensation, and standing by your promises even when it would be easier not to. Each fair deal builds your reputation as someone worth doing business with. Consider how John Adams showed justice during his legal career. When British soldiers were accused in the Boston Massacre, Adams defended them despite intense public backlash. He believed justice required a fair trial regardless of personal cost. This integrity earned him tremendous respect, even from opponents, and helped launch his political career. Being fair when it's difficult gets noticed. You'll face pressure from peers or industry standards to take advantage of others for quick gains. Your supplier sends too much inventory, your client doesn't notice an error in your favor. These moments test your character. Stand firm in fair dealings because that integrity builds a loyal network that supports your long-term success and respects you as a man of principle. In business and life, you're judged by how you act when no one is watching. Those who cut corners end up cutting themselves off from opportunity. Most guys let their emotions run their lives. They get upset about small setbacks, hold grudges over minor slights, and waste energy on things they can't control. Meanwhile, the guys at the top stay cool under pressure, saving their emotional energy for what truly matters. Franklin understood this with his 9th virtue, moderation. Avoid extremes, forbear resenting injuries so much as you think they deserve. In plain terms, keep your emotions in check and don't overreact to problems or insults. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about responding proportionally and strategically. When you fly off the handle at every obstacle, you drain your mental energy and often make situations worse. Plus, people stop taking you seriously if you're constantly in crisis mode. Franklin demonstrated this virtue during the Constitutional Convention when tempers flared among delegates. He calmed tensions with humor and compromise, helping everyone refocus on crafting the Constitution rather than getting stuck in ego battles. His balanced approach kept progress moving on one of history's most important documents. One struggle many face is dwelling on criticism or failures, which feeds self-doubt and fear. When negative thoughts start spiraling, try a quick mental reset. Take 5 minutes to write down what happened, what you learned, and your next steps. This simple practice processes emotions and refocuses your energy on solutions instead of problems. Emotional control separates leaders from followers. When others panic, the man who keeps his cool sees opportunities they miss. Let's be honest. People judge you within seconds of seeing you. Showing up with wrinkled clothes, messy hair, or in a cluttered space immediately puts you at a disadvantage, no matter how talented you are. First impressions matter, especially when you're trying to level up. Franklin's 10th virtue was cleanliness. Tolerate no uncleanliness in body, clothes, or habitation. In modern terms, keep yourself, your clothes, and your space clean and well-maintained. This isn't about vanity. It's about the subtle signals you send about your attention to detail and self-discipline. When clients or potential partners see you put effort into your appearance and environment, they assume you'll bring that same care to your work. These impressions happen subconsciously before anyone even speaks. George Washington understood this power. Even during the brutal winter at Valley Forge, he maintained an impeccable appearance as a general. He dressed meticulously because he knew it inspired confidence in his troops and projected authority to allies and enemies alike. His attention to cleanliness helped him command respect in challenging circumstances. Here's a simple way to start. Set out a sharp outfit the night before an important meeting or event. This small step eliminates morning decision fatigue and ensures you look your best when it matters most. It takes the same amount of time to put on a wrinkled shirt or a pressed one, but the impression you make is completely different. Your appearance is your personal brand. When you present yourself well, you signal that you take yourself seriously, and others will too. Now here's a big problem many people suffer from. When things go wrong, they spiral out of control. A client backs out, a project fails, or they face criticism, and suddenly they're questioning everything. They waste days or weeks stuck in their head while opportunities pass them by. The truly successful bounce back quickly because they don't get derailed by everyday setbacks. Franklin's 11th virtue was tranquility. Be not disturbed at trifles or at accidents common or unavoidable. Simply put, don't freak out over small problems or things you can't control. This isn't about ignoring legitimate issues. It's about maintaining perspective on what truly threatens your goals versus what's just a temporary inconvenience. Most things that seem like disasters in the moment are barely remembered a month later. George Washington showed remarkable tranquility during a potential military crisis. Near the end of the Revolutionary War, frustrated Continental Army officers met at Newburgh, ready to threaten Congress over missing back pay. Washington walked in unannounced and gave a short speech about their shared sacrifices. When he pulled out a letter to read, he fumbled for his glasses, saying quietly, "Gentlemen, you must pardon me. I have grown gray and almost blind in the service of my country." This simple, human moment dissolved the tension immediately. Many officers wept, the mutiny collapsed, and the army reaffirmed its loyalty. Washington's calm approach prevented a potential military coup that could have destroyed the new nation. When you face your next crisis, try the calm approach. Center yourself with a deep breath, assess the situation objectively, learn what you can from it, then move forward with a clear plan. This simple framework keeps you composed and in control, rather than letting emotions drive your decisions. Staying calm isn't just good for your mental health, it's a competitive advantage. While others are still freaking out, you're already solving the problem. But a lot of guys won't like this next virtue. Let's get real. There's a reason hookup culture leaves so many guys feeling empty and unfocused. Constantly chasing fleeting pleasures drains the energy you need to build something real in your life and can seriously damage your reputation if you make poor choices. Franklin's 12th virtue was chastity. Rarely use venery, but for health or offspring, never to dullness, weakness, or the injury of your own or another's peace or reputation. In today's language, be careful with your sexual energy and avoid behavior that could harm your focus or reputation. This isn't some outdated puritanical view. It's practical advice about channeling your energy into productive pursuits instead of letting it scatter in all directions. Think about how much mental space gets occupied by constantly pursuing hookups or recovering from wild nights out. That's brain power not being used to build your business or improve your skills. Franklin himself struggled with this virtue. He had several romantic dalliances in his younger years, which he later regretted as risky to his reputation. In his autobiography, he advised young men to avoid such distractions, noting how focusing his energy on his printing work had built his wealth and status far more effectively. He learned through experience that undisciplined behavior could derail his goals. A common mistake is thinking that constant partying and hookups are proof you're living the good life. But look at the guys who consistently build wealth and influence. They're strategic about where they spend their time and energy. They're not monks, but they don't let passing pleasures distract them from bigger goals either. Your energy is limited. Direct it toward building something lasting rather than chasing what fades by morning. It might not seem like it on a surface level, but the loudest guys in the room are often the most insecure. They talk endlessly about their accomplishments, never admit mistakes, and can't stand being outshined. Meanwhile, truly confident men listen more than they speak, give credit to others, and constantly seek to improve because they're secure enough to admit they don't know everything. Franklin's 13th virtue was humility. Imitate Jesus and Socrates. In simple terms, stay teachable, give credit where it's due, and don't let ego get in the way of growth. This doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means having the confidence to acknowledge what you don't know and learn from anyone who can teach you something valuable. Arrogance feels good in the moment, but blocks the feedback and growth you need to reach the next level. Interestingly, Franklin added humility to his list only after a Quaker friend pointed out his pridefulness. He took the criticism and worked on improving. One way he practiced humility was by publicly crediting others for ideas in Poor Richard's almanac, even when they were his own. This built goodwill and expanded his influence far more effectively than demanding recognition would have. You probably feel pressure to appear perfect on social media or in front of your peers. Nobody wants to post about their failures or admit when they're struggling. But this prevents authentic connections and keeps you from getting the advice that could change everything. The strongest move is often saying, "I don't know, can you help me understand this better?" True humility isn't weakness. It's the ultimate form of strength. Only a confident man can admit his flaws and still know his worth. You can learn a lot from Ben Franklin's virtues, but you can often learn more from mistakes than principles. See every president's biggest regret in this video next.